Hey, good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning to everyone, guys. So just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah.
Good morning. Yes, let's go.
So let's get started. So others join. It's a festival, right? They may not join also. Okay. Today we will talk about like how to perform building a simple mapping so that we can understand like how data would get transferred from source to a target. So from there we can understand the environment of IICS. Yeah. And then prior to that, I would also talk about architecture of Informatica Cloud, yeah, and see what are the components that we have and how we can make multiple components to talk to each other. Yeah. So that's what we are going to discuss on today's session. Yeah. So let me try to share my desktop.
And please maximize your screen.
You can see, right?
I can see, but it is a small screen. So if you
Okay, probably.
maximize,
Yeah, maximize it from your side. Yeah. Yeah. Is it five better now?
yes, is it better than before?
Okay. From your side also you can zoom it so that text will be clear. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay, what yeah, let me open the presentation. Yeah. So in this we can understand architecture in multiple ways. Like for example, if you take this architecture diagram, right, where we can see on-prem in the bottom, cloud in the top. So there are two layers here, on-prem and cloud. So on-prem means local, cloud means just remote. Just remember that. Yeah? So now the question, let's say we need to transfer data from on-prem to cloud. There has to be some service to take care of it. Answer is what? We use secure agent or Informatica cloud secure agent, which will be used to transfer data from on-prem to cloud and vice versa. So that's where we can see solid line with arrow, which means we can transfer data from on-prem to a cloud and cloud to on-prem. It's as simple as that. But before we get there, we have to have metadata. So where do you get metadata? So that's where you can see on the left side, Informatica Cloud repository. In the sense, let us say in on-prem, we have built some Informatica Cloud activity, like example, data integration activity, simple mapping, let us say. If you build a mapping and say save, where does it get stored? That's what we can see, dotted line with arrow, right? So through that, it is going to save under Informatica Cloud repository. So we all know that repository is a place where we store the metadata, right? So that's it. And vice versa, in the sense, now when you want to run this mapping, right, where we transfer data from on-prem to cloud, let us say, in that case, we have to obtain the metadata from cloud repository And based on that metadata, we transfer data from on-prem to cloud or cloud to on-prem, whatever. This is a flow that would take place in this particular informatical cloud architecture. Yeah. Next, now the question is this particular agent protected or not? That's the next question. Because if you try to make it public, there is a chance to misuse this particular agent. So, so there is a way to protect this particular agent. So what is that way? One, we can make use of a firewall. And second, we can also make use of what you call some other authentication authorization mechanism. And third, by using proxy also, we can just get it protected. Yeah. So, and fourth, we can also use third-party authentication authorization tools through which we could protect this particular agent. So there are multiple ways to protect this particular agent. We will see how one can protect practically as we go on, right? So that's it. This is a high-level discussion with respect to what informatical cloud architecture, right? Now, once you understand that, next thing is what? We need to understand what kind of protocols that we could make use of it in order to make on-prem to talk to what? Cloud. You can see right in this diagram, same architecture only with some details over here. Let us understand what are those extra details that we can infer from this particular diagram, right? So on the right side, we could able to see local. On the left side, we can see what? Cloud. Yes or no? No. So, so local means local can have files or database tables or application or whatever. So we can have any media where we store the data. So data, let's say source data example. Now the question, so we need to transfer this particular data to a cloud, which is on the left side. Yes or no? Now, how do we do that? So as we all know that before we transfer data from local to cloud, first we need to make the metadata ready. To do that, in the bottom we can see, right? Yes or no? From local, you can see one, right? From local, we build any IICS activity, example mapping, or a task flow, or a maplet, whatever. Let's say we have built one of the IICS activity. That's the first step. Now we need to make this particular IICS activity onto this central storage media. That's where you can see row 2, right? Which is informatical cloud repository. Now, how do we store it? Which means the kind of protocol that we use to store the metadata. That is where we use what? HTTPS protocol, which is hypertext transfer protocol in a secure mode, as indicates. So that's what we use as part of Informatica Cloud, which means we use HTTPS architecture. When it says save, right? Through HTTPS, it will be saved under Informatica Cloud repository. Yeah. While saving it, do we use any what you call production? Yes, you can see in the middle, right? Which is a red line with arrow, right? It's not a red line, whatever. So, so line with arrow, right? Which indicates what? Firewall. Yeah. So that's it about 1 and 2. In the sense, through 1, we transfer metadata to what? 2. That's where we will have metadata. Now the question. So we need to transfer data. So while doing data transfer, one, what kind of protocol that we use? Can you see here? We can use either HTTPS protocol or SOAP protocol. SOAP means Standard Object Access Protocol or Standard Object Adapter Protocol. Both are same. So, but but in reality we use standard object access protocol. Yeah? So which means, let us say there could be some external applications which will be based on what? SOAP. In that case, we have to use SOAP only to talk to what? External application. So, and there could be some applications which are driven from what? HTTPS. Then we can go with what? HTTPS, which means depending upon the type of protocol that will be used by a external application, that we can choose appropriate protocol. That's a one perspective. And second, let us say we just have to transfer data from file to some cloud. In that case, we don't need to worry about protocol, right? But there has to be some protocol that has to be used because we are dealing with web, right? Cloud means web. Yes or no? So which is by default, we will be using what? HTTPS protocol. So it's not mandatory that based on external application only we choose what protocol. Yeah. So without using any what I call external protocol, we can still make use of one of the protocol to get the data transferred from local to cloud or cloud to local. So that's what we can see, which is what? Third on the left side. Third means what? From right side media to left side media we transfer. That's why you can say 3, 3 on the both sides. So that's it, guys. From this, what we understand, protocol only. Rest of them we know already in the previous diagram, right? Yes or no? So I hope you all could able to hear me, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Narasimha, we can hear you.
Okay. Any questions from anybody so far? Rehman, Ali, Balaji, Ishan.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, Shatrugna. Shatrugna, can you hear me? Fine. So it's fine. So now let us start getting into what next level of understanding architecture. Yeah, this part is straightforward. So from cloud, we build a mapping, store it in the repository, then transfer data from local to cloud. That's where the third step. Yeah. So there's a one extra step that we can understand from this diagram is what? Remember, see,
Fluenty.
in Informatica Cloud, we have got multiple microservices. And one of the service that we use to perform meta transfer or data transfer, right? Meta in the top, which is imaginary line with arrow, right? And solid line with arrow in the bottom. Both transfers, in the sense meta transfer, data transfer, has to be taken care by using some service. That's where we use what? Integration. Yeah. So we got multiple SaaS based services, which is software as a service. Software here is what? Integration. So integration we use it as what? Service. That's it. Software replaces what? Integration here. Likewise, we got data quality as a service, data profiling as a service, MDM as a service, Business 360 as a service, Reference 360 as a service. So likewise, we got multiple microservices offered by Informatica Cloud. So in this particular training program, we focus on what? Data integration activities. That's where we use what? Integration as a service. Clear, guys? Now, so now let us talk about some more details. On the left side, we have already talked about it. It's a high-level diagram to understand Informatica Cloud architecture. Now, we will see on the right side. I hope you all could able to see, right? This architecture diagram. Yeah. So
Yeah,
because now we need to get into some more details now. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, perfect. So now let's understand one by one. The first and foremost thing, authentication or authorization before we get into Informatica Cloud. That's the first thing. I repeat, authentication or authorization. That's where the first thing, left, bottom, right, identity or access. Yeah. So remember, there is a inbuilt authentication authorization mechanism supported by Informatica Cloud, which means we can use inbuilt authentication authorization where we can supply the link. This is a web client we call, then start availing the services offered by Informatica Cloud, which is on the top portion, right? That's the first thing. And second, identity. Remember, there are multiple third-party identity providers or access providers or authentication ac- authorization providers like a LDAP or some other single sign-on SSO, or it could be any other third-party authentication mechanism. In that case, can we use that particular identity provider through which we can start making use of the services offered by Informatica Cloud. That's the second thing. Yeah, these are the two things, right? Now, so authentication authorization part is done. Now we logged in. Next step, once you log in, right, we need to start performing Informatica Cloud activities. The first thing, meta activities. Can you see here? Remember, if you want to perform any what I call either meta activity or data activity, we have to have some service which we call an agent. And this particular agent can be installed in a Windows platform or Unix platform. So Linux is one of them. Now the question, once you build any mapping or a task flow or a maplet or some other ISS activity, right? Let's say cleansing or whatever, right? Now we need to store that particular activity in a central storage media, which we call repository, Informatica Cloud Repository. Can you see here? This arrow pointing right, this particular left portion of the cloud layer. Yeah. So because we store metadata in the Informatica Cloud Repository, we all know that, right? Can you see here? So here the control would get in here where we can see Informatica Cloud. Within that, there are multiple microservices. One of the microservices is what? Data integration service. Within that, one of the service is what? Informatica Cloud Repository Service. Yeah. So where you can see bidirectional data line with arrow, using which meta will be stored in the repository. Remember that. Yeah. So this can be used with a single tenant or multiple tenant. Remember this. Yeah. That's it. That's about metadata part. Now the next question, how do you make use of it for data? So again, we need to come onto the bottom where we execute the mapping, let us say. Then let's say we need to transfer data from local database table, example, SQL Server, right? From that, agent is going to pick up the data based on what? Metadata, which is first it would read metadata from there, using which it transfer data from, let's say, SQL Server to what? Any cloud. Can you see on the right top? See here, it is going to transfer data from local SQL Server to what? Any cloud storage media like a Salesforce, Amazon, NetSuite, or anything, rather Google Cloud, whatever, right? Only some are listed here. Yeah. So how does it get transferred? By using what? HTTPS or SO protocol. Remember that. So protocols part we have already discussed. Yeah. So that's it. Similarly, we can also transfer data from what I call even applications like SAP or any other CBEL or whatever, right? So from application also can transfer data from here to which is local or on-prem to what? Cloud. And vice versa. We can read the data from cloud, like Amazon, get it transferred to what? Local, right? We are just talking about all permutations and combinations supported by informatical cloud architecture to get the data transferred. Yeah. And this particular SAML, security assertion markup language, which is going to help us in order to protect this particular data. That's why we can see SAML, right? So, but this is optional. But if you want to have more protection for data, we can also have SAML used in order to protect it. Yeah? Or we can also say that single sign-on. That itself that also would be based on what? SAML language, you can say, or specification, right? So data part is clear. So on-prem to cloud, cloud to on-prem. Now the next question, which I did not talk about it so far, which is what? Can we transfer data from cloud to cloud? That's the next question, right? Yes or no? So can you see here? So there is a bidirectional solid line. This one, right? Yes or no? So in this case, what it is showing, transferring data from cloud to what? Informatica cloud, data storage. Can you see here? Yes or no? So in that case, there is a one more agent that we can see in the top left, which is what? Cloud hosted agent or Informatica cloud secure agent. Both are same. Yeah. So we use this particular cloud secure agent, Informatica cloud hosted agent, to transfer data from Informatica cloud to any other third party cloud or third party cloud storage media to Informatica cloud. Yeah. So yes. Now you can ask question, can we use local secure agent in order to transfer data from this particular third party cloud to Informatica cloud? Answer is what? Yes. Provided we have to have access to this particular secure agent to access what? Third party cloud. From Informatica, we have it, but third party cloud by default you will not have it. So if you provide access, we can also use what? Local secure agent. So that's it about this particular Informatica cloud architecture. Now it is your turn to ask any kind of question from any diagram that we discussed, because we started with very elementary way of understanding this Informatica cloud architecture, which you can see on the left side. After that, we have also seen what you call, so can we use this particular Informatica cloud as an integration as a service or software as a service? Answer is yes. That also we have seen it. And third, we've also talked about the kind of protocols that would be supported by Informatica Cloud Architecture, which is HTTPS and SOAP based on metadata and also data. And fourth, we are trying to understand clubbing all of them, which includes authentication authorization and cloud to cloud, local to cloud for both meta and data. So that is covered as part of what? Detailed Informatica Cloud architecture. So these are the four things which I explained it. Now you can just ask questions if you have any questions, guys. Raymond, Shatrugna, Balaji,
No,
Alish.
So,
no, also.
so we have two secure agents, Narasimha. From cloud to cloud, it's a separate secure agent, and from on-premise to cloud, separate secure agent.
Yes, Balaji. By default, when we install secure agent, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
would install what? Or when we install, when you register Informatica Cloud, right? That time itself,
Mm-hmm.
you get to see cloud hosted agent, which is cloud agent. Now, let us say if you want to have access from local to cloud environment, right? Then only
Mm-hmm.
we would install local agent, Balaji.
Okay. But the cloud secure agent, we can't stop and start, right? By default, always will be running state.
Yeah, by default, it will be up and running. But yes, but if we get access to that, right, we cannot have a control. So, but provided, so we need to ask for access privileges, Balaji. That's also possible.
Oh,
By
okay.
default, we will not have it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Narasimha.
Yeah. So, any other questions?
Yes. Based on this diagram, I saw from on-prem to Salesforce, like a cloud. Here I saw need to, if you share your screen, then it will be easier for me to check. Okay. So here I saw like proxy is used, though it is a optional, right, with the secure agent. But on-prem here, like to intelligent cloud service, another identity or access needed. So it is not
Mhm.
connected on-prem. I saw this bidirectional thing is connected with user to directly with intelligent cloud service. So how it will interact?
So, this is for, let's say, logging in. This is for data. Rahman?
Okay, got it.
So, yeah, just to make it very straight answer, right? This is for logging in with third
Logging in.
party,
Okay.
with inbuilt authentication. This is where identity access comes in. This is for data protection. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. Any other questions, guys? So start asking any kind of question, guys. Okay, so we'll make it more interact. Any kind of question I can ask. Yeah. If I know, mostly I'll answer it. Even if I don't know also, I'll definitely get the answer for that question. Yeah. Fine.
Narasimha, see, the HTTPS is a kind of like
Protocol.
it's a valid certificate that will be installed in the Informatica Cloud server, right? To access that uh, Informatica cloud URL, right? So it
Yes.
won't
When
be
you try
like
to
a
register, right?
firewall. It won't be like a firewall, right? It is just like a valid certificate or what you can say yeah, protocol. Maybe it's not like firewall and all. It's like to access the URL and all. It
It's a
requires some
protocol.
valid yeah
Yeah, that's
protocol.
not a firewall. It's a protocol where we can use, let's say, SSA authentication. Yeah. So, like encryption or TLS or SSH or RSH. We've got multiple secure way to protect third-party applications, right? Yes or no? So that's where by
Hmm.
default Informatica uses what? HTTPS. Balaji.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
which means, yeah, not only this, in Informatica Cloud, most of the applications are web-based applications. They have to use protection or unprotected protocol. So, it's not mandated that we have to use HTTPS only. We can also use what? Simple HTTP also. But in that, the protection will be less when it comes to accessing Informatica Cloud application. But if you want to use simple HTTP, that also can be used Informatica Cloud. I'll talk about where do we use it, yeah, and how to use it, yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Narasimha.
Hi, Mamata. Good morning.
Narsimha, can you show me the diagram one more time, please?
Uh, Hi, Narsima. There was a small confusion. I thought like class starts from tomorrow
You
because that
start
day you said
7:30, right?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So can you share the
7:30.
yeah? Can you share the recording?
Yeah, you'll get the recording, Mamata. Fine.
Yeah,
I
thank
think
you.
you shared your email ID, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Then in that case, you'll get a link. Yeah. Fine. There you'll get a shared folder, so that you can access it. I think last session, did you get a chance to access it, Mamata? No. Anyway, you'll get a link again. Yeah, you can just access it. Fine. Go ahead. Since I want to ask some question.
Yeah, Narasimha, Ali here. Can you show me the diagram one more time, please? I would like to understand the proxy over there. Like you are explaining about proxy something.
Yes, please. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
please.
What exactly what proxy semi 2.0s? Yeah.
Yeah, see here. So let me talk about simple example. See, we have got multiple markup languages, right? One we have
Right.
HTML, second let us say XML, third let us say JSON. We all know that, right? This is how evolution happened when it comes to markup languages. Yeah. But where do you use those markup languages? For data. Yes or no? We all know that, right? HTTP, sorry, HTML you can use it. XML 1.0, 2.0. So you got multiple versions, right? So like, for example, if you take even any application, right? There'll be versions because of upgrades or whatever, right? Similarly,
Right.
HTML is also one of the markup language that has been designed for what? Protection in the context of Informatica Cloud here. And the version that we use here is what? 2.0. They started with 1.0. Now
Mhm.
they added some extra features. That's why they made it as what? 2.0. Yeah.
It's the latest
Clear?
version.
Yeah,
Okay.
version. Exactly. Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah. Fine. So now let's move on to what, like how to make use of this particular architecture in order to perform data integration activities. As I said earlier, in Informatica Cloud environment, we can have multiple services, right? One is a data integration, second is application integration, third is a quality aspect, fourth is what profiling activities, fifth is what even enterprise data cataloging part, so and fifth is what Axon, which is a data governance metadata activities. Then we have got business 360, reference 360, and so on, right? There are multiple services which is Informatica Cloud Product Suite. Now, out of them, our primary focus point in this particular training program would be on what? Data integration and also, let's say, app integration, right? Now, let us see how the environment would look like and see whether we could able to perform basic elementary activity and see whether we could able to perform both meta cum data activities. That's going to be the next question. And let us try to answer it. Yeah. The first thing, yeah. So we need to what you call register Informatica Cloud. Yeah. So what we need to do? So we need to register. I'll talk about how to register. I'll share the instructions, and so that you can install it. Yeah. Yeah. Once we register, right? Can you see here? So there are we can use this Informatica Cloud in multiple regions, like Asia Pacific, Western, whatever, right? Yeah. So let's say I've just registered based on Asia Pacific. That's how we can see in the link, right? DM-AP. Yeah. So which means DM means data mart, AP means Asia Pacific, then from Informatica Cloud with a commercial purpose. And application that we use is what? MEA. Yeah. So that's it. So now once you supply this link, so then click on press enter. Yeah. Can you see in the title bar Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services? In short, we call it as IICS. Remember that. Clear, guys? So now we have got advanced name for this, which is IDMC, which is Intelligent Data Cloud Services or Intelligent Data Management Services. Yeah, remember that IDMC. Yeah. I'll talk about what IDMC contains. For now, you can just focus on IICS. Yeah. So now, once you get this particular page, right, then we can supply credentials. Can you compare this with architecture, guys? So can you see in the bottom? one authentication. Top, another authentication. Top portion by default is what? Internal authentication. You can see in the left side, right? So Informatica Cloud, it has got its own authentication authorization. Top portion in this URL is what? Internal. And bottom is what? Outside. Remember that. Single sign-up by using LDAP or some other authentication provider. See, practically we are trying to say it now, right? Now, let's say we are using internal authentication, right? So let us apply this. And I've just registered it. Yeah, click on login. Oh, what happened? Oh, this is BDM4, not MD. Yeah. So once you supply proper credentials, right, then we could able to get into this Informatica Cloud. So I hope it is clear, right, guys? See each and every point, right? So try to understand. In case if you get stuck with something, right, immediately you can shoot up the question. Yeah, I'll answer it with some examples. Remember, guys. But but so we all have to be on the same page. Remember, guys. If not today, you can also ask question tomorrow, any day, any time. Yeah. Fine. So can you see here, guys? So these are the multiple microservices. Out of them, let's say we focus on data integration, if possible, application integration, and what do you call to control these two or this particular microservice, right, at global level, right? We can also use what administrator service, right? Now let us say we don't want default agent offered by Informatica Cloud, which is a cloud hosted agent, right? Because let us most of the cases in any project, right, we focus on what the interaction between the local to cloud. Most of the cases, not all. So in that case, we have to have some agent to transfer it from one to another, like on-prem to cloud or cloud to on-prem. So to do that, we need some service, which is what I call Informatica Cloud Secure Agent. So that need to be installed before we get into performing any data integration activities. To get there, we can click on Administrator Service. Let's click on that. Which means we just have to download and install. Where do you do that? That's what I'm going to show. Yeah. So now can you see here runtime environments? Others I'll talk about it. In runtime environments, we could able to see download secure agent button. Can you see in the right top where I placed the mouse pointer, right? So we can see what download secure agent. You can just click on it, and as part of registration, right, one of the step is what we need to supply the token. Yeah. So this we can just copy put in the notepad and set download. So it will be downloaded onto your local system. Let's say we are using Windows example, Windows 64-bit. It download, it will be downloaded. After that, you can just click on that exe, then follow the navigations. It's very straightforward, and supply this token in one of the step. With that, Informatica Cloud agent would get installed. Once it is installed, right? Can you see here? It will be brought up after a while because it has to take care of bringing up all the core services in order to perform, let's say, any data integration activities. That will take some time. Just have to wait for it. Then, once everything is ready, right? So you can see status, right? Which is up and running, you know, which is the informatical cloud secure agent, which is up and running. So that's a group actually, secure agent group. Remember, guys, we can have set of agents. It's not mandatory that we have to have only one secure agent. We can have n number of secure agents. Like for instance, so you all will be knowing any integration tool, right? If you take Power Center, where we use what? Power Center integration service. Yes or no? So in Power Center also we can have n number of Power Center integration services or n number of data integration services in local environment, right? Which is on-prem environment of Informatica, right? Same concept. So this is exactly equal to secure agent, which is exactly equal to what? Data integration service. So in local Informatica environment, right, we use data quality, right? Which is and the client that we use here is what? Informatica developer. Yeah, where we use data integrations service. So this exactly equal to that, which means why not Power Integration Service? That you can ask question, right? Because so this particular Informatica cloud environment, it supports data quality activities and also Power Center activities, which is integration activities. That's why if you say agent, agent is equal to what? Data integration service within on-prem environment of Informatica. So see, whoever is aware of local Informatica, right? They can understand, but others, right, you can ignore. It's not mandatory that you have to have experience in on-prem Informatica environment. It's not mandatory, guys. So independently also we can learn Informatica cloud. Yeah. So that's it. And properties and all, I'll talk about it as we go on. Like what all can be configured within this Informatica cloud secure agent. Yeah. So we'll talk about it later. Yeah. So now we just have to download and install and make sure that it is up and running. That's it. I hope it is clear, right? Now, by using this particular agent, which means if you try to compare with this diagram, right? So you can see the bottom, right? This agent is ready to use. Yes or no? This part we have already discussed. And by default, you'll have this particular cloud hosted agent also. Yes or no? Now, using this, so we need to take care of metadata and also data. Like for example, from local file or local table to, let's say, cloud, we need to transfer by using, let's say, secure agent. Let us try to understand that, right? Practically. So to do that, we can use what? Data integration service. Can you say I just clicked on this down arrow button in the left top? So where it will show up what? N number of services. So let's say we are focusing on integration as a service. Yes or no? For that, click on that integration. Yes. Can I say, guys? So this is a dashboard, guys. On the left first portion, right? Overview, where we can say number of runtime environment that we have. So we got only one. That's why you can see count one. What is that one? It's a local agent, which is up and running, right? And second part, connections. Connections, as we all know, guys, connection is an interface through which we can talk to any structured or unstructured application-oriented mainframe or legacy data, right? Yes or no? For example, if you want to talk to SAP, SAP connector is required. If you want to talk to flat file connector. If you want to talk to database connector. In this, we have got three connections because I have just taken care for other patches. That's why three connections have been created. Yeah? Now, create projects. So we can create n number of projects. Like in local power center, right? We create folders, right? N number of folders. Similarly, here also you can create one project within that n number of folders. Like we can build complete folder structure, like what we do in normal any file system, right? Like Unix file system or Windows file system. For example, click on this where by default you will have default project. If you want to create our own project, on the right top, we can see new project. Click on that and supply the project name. Let's say dev. A description. If you want, you can supply. Whereas it is an optional thing, right? Remember,
So,
guys, why? Yes, please.
yeah, Narsimha, in the real-time scenario, do they allow us as a developers to create the folders, or they will take
Yes.
care of these folders?
Logically, this
Mm.
part should be done by the administrator, but yes,
Right.
we'll have control to create
Okay.
project and folder. Yeah.
Got
So yeah, where to provide access, I'll talk about it. In administrator, we create a user, we create a group, we create
That's
roles and
perfect.
grant access user to group, user to role, group to role. We have got some steps. So those
Mm.
things we have to take care. Yeah,
Okay.
fine. Yeah. So now let us say we are creating our own project. Yeah, like in
Narsimha,
repository manager. Yes, please.
there is no repository concepts here.
What we are doing is repository. Like when you create a project, right? It has to be stored somewhere, right? Where does it get stored? Repository. So if you look at this architecture, right? So we use which repository? Informatica Cloud repository. Can you see here in the left bottom Informatica Cloud repository?
Yeah,
Got no? So
yeah.
it's exactly similar to Power Center if you know it. Like we have repository manager, right? Where if you create a folder, right? The folder has to be stored somewhere, right? Where does it get stored? Repository. Same thing here. Yeah. So that's it. And save it. Yeah.
Narasimha,
Yes,
in
please.
real-time scenario, the secure agent we need to download it and keep it running, or how it is in real-time
Yes.
scenario.
Normally, this download and installation part should be done by the administrator because we have used administrator service, right, to perform that. Yeah. So usually developers will not do it. Yes, in real time also, we download and install agent. Yeah.
Okay, so every developer they have to download the agent and they have to install it.
Yeah,
Secure agent.
no. Yeah, that's a good question. Remember, guys, in real project environment, what we do, we usually use in developer environment, right? One agent. And that particular agent will be installed by the administrator. So developers, they don't need to install it. They can directly use what? Agent, which is installed by the administrator. Yeah.
And basically, administrator will provide the user and
Credential.
password, the credential
Exactly.
access.
To talk,
Got
yeah. One, not only credentials, credentials to login only, but agent details like agent name, and then we can use that agent to perform meta as well as data. You got right? Fine. That's one thing, one perspective. But for learning, right, we can install. Let's say we have got four uh, clients or four developers. Each of the developer environment, right, we can download and install because we got a access for all the microservices, right, like administrator, all that. So that's why we went into this particular administrator service, and then there is a download secure agent button, right? We can click and download, right? Yes, sir. But in real project, you will not access to administrator service. Yeah. Clear, guys? Yes or
So,
no? Yeah.
yeah. So multiple users, when developers, the access will be provided to that particular one secure agent so that they can access it, right?
Exactly. So, for example, let's say on your system, you can have your own agent, and Mamata system, she will have her own agent, and Balaji her own agent. So, likewise, so it's likewise you can have even Shatrugna, he will have his own agent for every person, and Shekhar also, and Rahman. For every person, they'll have their own agent. When you run it, right, they can use by default their own agent, but they, in case if you provide access to, let's say, Ali has given access of e-secure agent to Rahman, right? He can do it. Then Rahman also can access agent of Ali. Likewise, if you provide access, right, they can access it. That's it. If you want, you can use local agent, or you can also use remote agent, which is installed in some other system. Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Thanks, Nasim.
Fine. Now project has been created successfully, right? So now we can just click on dev project, and under that we can create a folder also. Which means we can organize our complete project based on the structure. Yeah? Let us say we create a project and folder which will be used to extract data. Yeah? So for that, let's say we are creating one particular folder, right? That's it. Save it. So likewise, you can create a complete structure, guys. So I hope it is clear. This is the first and foremost thing that we need to do before we perform any data integration activities. Clear? Now, remember, guys, so there are multiple terms that we all need to understand in Informatica Cloud. So now let us talk about it. If we click on new, where we can see the first and foremost term is what? Asset. Yeah. So asset is a term that we use in Informatica Cloud, just like a type of activity that we do. So we use a term asset. Asset means type of activity. Example, type of activity could be a task, or a mapping, or a maplet, a task flow, or a component. Right? So that's one term, which is what? Asset. Right? So now, anyway, as we go on, right, we'll talk about some more terms that we use. Yeah. Let's just subterms we can say. Task is subterm, mapping subterm, whatever, right? Now let us talk about one of the activity or one type of asset, which we call a mapping. Yeah. So we all know that, right? Mapping is a term that we use in order to perform ETL activities. ETL means extract, transform, and load. Meaning extract means read, transform it, logic, load means what? To push data to any target. That's it. Simple terms I'm trying to talk. Yeah. So now let us try to select mapping and click on what? Create. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see here? By default, when you say create, then what happens? We can see the mapping workspace in the middle part. On the left side, we all could able to see the list of transformations supported by this particular data integration service, which includes source, target, aggregator. Then we've got a cleanse, deduplicate, expression filter, and so on. So all of them, I'm going to talk with practical examples in the context of data integration. That's a what you call this left palette, which includes n number of transformations supported by data integration service. Right? Now, middle portion will be used to build a mapping. That's why we call it as what? Mapping workspace or cloud mapping workspace, you know, or mapping designer, like what we have in Power Center, right? This is equivalent to that, right? Yeah. And the right top, we can see what, just like what toolbar, where we can see save, run, yeah. So undo, redo, then followed by validate. Once you build a mapping, right, you need to make sure that's right or wrong, right? That's where we use validation. Yeah. We can also see ellipsis button where we can perform some actions like creation of a new mapping task, save, run, or whatever. We can see multiple sub actions. We'll see as we go on, rest of all of them. Yeah. If
Narsima,
you
will
want to
it get
close
auto
this,
save?
yes, please. Yes, please.
Will it get auto save?
No, we have to click manually. But when you run, right, that time it lasts for save. You can just say yes and proceed further. Auto save, yes, we will not have that. We have to save
Okay,
it
so every
manually.
time we make changes, we need to save.
Exactly. Any modification that you do, right? Yes, you need to click on that. Yeah? Like a normal file that we do it in Windows or Unix, right? There won't be any auto save. We have to what we call save it manually, right? Same concept holds good here, right? So same thing, Power Center also, right? Fine. So now on the sub toolbar, we can see what multiple sub activities, right? Like a delete, cut, paste, copy, zoom in, zoom out, whatever, right? So, and then flashlight to indicates what monitoring, enabling monitoring, or we can also call it as what operational insight. So can you see bulb here? That bulb can be seen here. So which will tell us like the transformation sub menu form. Yeah, fine. So if you don't want, we can also just power it off. See, it disappears here. Yeah, that's it anyway. Fine. So let us say we just power on. Yeah, it appears here. So that's about the left side, middle, and top portion. Now in the bottom, we can see, right? So there is a restore in the middle button. Then this is going to be minimize. This will be maximize. Yeah. This bottom part, guys, which we call properties window or properties panel. Yeah. So now we clicked, or the focus is what mapping workspace, right? These are all mapping properties. So we can supply the mapping name. Let's say mapping source target. Yeah, that's the first example which we are trying to do. See here, the developer is a default location. We just created one project, right? By default, it is pointing to what? Dev project. If you click
But
on
if you
browse,
want another folder, you can browse, right? Okay.
exactly. You can, if you want, right, you can just browse and specify other location. That's a dev extract folder. Yes, you are right. Yeah. Let's say here we are trying to what use this particular location to extract data from, that's a local example, right? This is what we call mapping properties. Clear, right? Now, next, now can we configure source properties and also target properties? That's a properties panel, a properties window will be used for. If you select a source, then source properties. If you select a target, then target properties. If you select mapping workspace, mapping properties. That we have already seen it. Then on top of it, if you want to maximize, click on it so that we can able to see the properties in a full window form. That's it. Yeah. So that's it, guys, for today. But anyway, this just environment. We just talked about it. In the next session, we talk about how to configure the source, target, and see how where do we store it. It's the repository part. Then how do we transfer data from one to another. So that we are going to see. After that, we'll talk about some more data
And
integration activities. Yeah,
and when we gonna download the cloud services?
that agent, right? So we'll
Yeah.
see. Probably tomorrow or day after. We just started, right? Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, any other questions?
So when we export this mapping, right, in local, it will be saved as a XML file or how it is?
Same thing, XML. It's
XML
similar
only, same
to
as like Power
local
Center.
Power Center. Yes, similar to Power Center. You are right, Balaji.
Oh, okay.
Yes, export import, right? Like migration from dev to testing environment, whatever, right? In that case, we use export import, right? Yes. I'll talk about where we do this export import. Yes, format is XML. Yes, you are right. Yeah.
Is there an option to download from on-prem to cloud?
Option to download from on-prem to cloud. Why?
Like import and export?
Yes, that is very much possible, provided you need to have access to the cloud. Yeah. You got it, Mamata?
Yes, Narasimha.
Yeah, fine. So that's it, guys. Any other questions? Raymond, Shatrugna, Mamata, Shekhar, Balaji, or
Tomorrow at the same time, right?
yes. Yeah, if there are no questions, then we'll stop here. We'll continue from here tomorrow at the same time, same link. Yeah, fine.
Narasimha, I shared email for my old emails. I don't know. Somehow I'm not receiving the updates. Can you share
Okay.
the recording to the new email I shared?
Yeah, fine. I'll do
Thank
that,
you.
Mamata. Yeah. So yeah, thanks to all guys. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time with the same link. Thanks again and bye.
Thanks.
Is it tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right then. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.